Imagine waking up every single day feeling like you're not just trying to survive, but like you're truly awake, fully alive in a way that makes every decision sharper, every moment richer, every challenge something you actively control instead of passively endure. That's what happens when leaders make awareness their daily practice, when they don't just go through motions or chase the next deal or title, but actually train their mind and heart to see clearly, deeply, and without the noise that drags most people down. It's not some fluffy concept or a vague spiritual thing. It's a practical, brutal, life-shifting skill. And those who master it don't just break barriers, they dissolve them. Here's what no one wants to tell you. Being a leader, a founder, an investor, a real influencer of change is exhausting. Because the world constantly screams for your attention, flooding your mind with distractions, pressure, and chaos disguised as opportunities. Most days feel like trying to run marathons uphill in quicksand, with 10 voices trying to pull you two ways while you're gasping for air. The hardest part? Knowing deep inside that something's missing, that you're not showing up as your full self. That the fire you once had, maybe even the fire you're counting on to build your empire, is smothered under habits you didn't choose or systems designed to dull your edge. You feel the pressure, right? The creeping doubt when decisions become foggy, when outcomes spin out of your control, when yourself gets lost in the gears of what's next that the world demands. Maybe you try to meditate but can't hold focus. Maybe you read all the books, follow all the experts, but it still slips away. The clarity, the energy, that sense of invincibility you once imagined. That's because awareness isn't something you have, it's something you train. And like any true power, it doesn't come cheap or easy. Training awareness means waking up to what's actually happening inside your mind every single second. It's catching those sneaky thoughts when they try to run away. It's noticing patterns of reaction before they spin you out. It's seeing your own ego, your fears, your hidden weaknesses, not to beat yourself up, but to disarm them. Because the worst enemy of anyone who leads anything worth leading is the autopilot mind, the one quietly feeding you stories that you're stuck, too small, or too late. The autopilot that makes comfort look like safety, but in truth is a cage. Imagine what would happen if, instead of fighting that autopilot every day, it slowly faded away. If every morning you tapped into a clear, calm awareness, so steady and held together that no external chaos could shake your foundation. If that awareness became a muscle so strong, it filtered out the noise before it even reached you, so your focus was razor sharp, so your decisions were laser precise, so your presence, not your title, your network, or your money, became your ultimate strength. Imagine turning every doubt into a signal, every setback into data, every fear into fuel. This is not wishful thinking. It's a skill practiced by the rare few, the founders who refuse to settle for the system's script, the investors who don't just want profit but transformation, the leaders who burn with the need to create something real, something new, something that lasts beyond them. These people understand something critical. Awareness is the gateway to true sovereignty. When you own your awareness, you own your will. And when you own your will, you lead reality instead of reality leading you. That daily training doesn't look like a giant leap. It's not about blocking out the world or pretending you don't feel overwhelmed. Instead, it's about small, ruthless habits. You shape them like muscle memory. 1 minute of noticing your breath before a meeting when stress tries to spike your heart rate. 5 seconds before sending a message to really feel what your intention is. Are you reacting or responding? 10 deep, honest seconds at the end of the day to sit with what actually happened, not what you wish had happened, so you can learn, adjust, evolve. These moments stack, they accumulate, they transform the way your brain wires itself. And here's the truth that will shake you. Most leaders don't train awareness because the system teaches the opposite. It teaches fast, loud, aggressive. It teaches to push through, to multitask, to perform. But this only builds exhaustion and blurs vision. The great ones are silent betrayers of the usual grind. They know the real power is invisible and quiet, but moves mountains. They don't just hustle harder, they hustle smarter. They don't try to control more, they control less, but better. They don't just want to be heard, they want to see clearly. You've probably felt this tension yourself, the pull between what the world demands and what your soul screams for. The urge to break free from conventions that chain you to outdated definitions of success. The frustration of knowing you have more inside you, but the world isn't built to hold it. That's the loneliness of the radical individual, the misunderstood visionary, the misaligned pioneer. Awareness practice isn't about fitting in. It's about unfitting yourself from everything that dulls your fire so that your real power can breathe. It's about making space for the extraordinary in a world designed for the average. This daily commitment to awareness creates something deeper too, a radical connectivity with yourself and with others who aren't trying to play it safe. When leaders train their awareness, they don't just see their own blind spots. They start to recognize the fractures in the system around them, the illusions and lies that keep most people asleep and stuck. They don't take any narrative at face value. They question constantly. They become critical of what's easy and comfortable and instead reach for what's hard and real. This is how they break the cycle of mediocrity and comfort that drags entire industries down. This is how leaders become the engines of true progress, not for followers, but for all who see the world isn't fixed but fluid. Because here's the unfair advantage of awareness. It teaches patience, a patience so fierce it outlasts all fads, all noise, all impatience. It rewires the impulsive brain into a strategic one. Leaders who train themselves every day don't just survive the games, they rewrite the rules, not because they want to win a system they despise, but because they build something beyond it. They're not here for temporary wins or empty praise, they're here to transform the game itself. And it gets even better. When you hold this clarity visibly in your presence, when your awareness holds steady through crisis and calm alike, others can't help but align with you. You become magnetic, not because you're loud, flashy, or aggressive, but because your calm, intentional energy offers refuge in the chaos. People who might have been disconnected or lost suddenly find direction. Teams no longer just work, they co-create. Investments don't just multiply, they transform markets. Visionaries quit being solitary because they recognize they don't have to be alone if they connect with others like this. This is why awareness daily practice isn't a luxury. It's the weapon and shield for those who refuse to live compromised by the world's lies and illusions. It's how leaders break the cycle of comfort and conformity that kills the rare flame within them. It's how the few who dare become the many who thrive. And yes, it's hard work. But it's the kind that doesn't tire you out. It powers you up because you're no longer swimming against the tide. You're moving with a current you create. Think of awareness as a daily room where you go to clear the fog, so the real you, the unfiltered you, can step forward and lead. No agenda, no pressure to impress, no mask. Just you showing up, moment by moment, and actively tuning into what's real, what's next, and what's possible beyond all the noise and limits the system tries to force on you. If that makes your heart beat a little faster, if it makes your mind refuse to settle for mediocre, if it makes you restless with the promise of a future that hasn't been written yet, then keep going. This practice can take the chains off your mind, the blinders off your vision, and the mask off your true power. Leaders who choose awareness every day don't just change their own lives, they forge pathways that everyone who follows can walk on. They build the future that systems can't imagine. They become the spark for change that refuses to die. So right now, the choice is yours. Stay trapped in the noise and exhaustion of daily chaos, or break free by training the most valuable muscle you have, the muscle of awareness. When that muscle grows beyond doubt, fear, and distraction, Everything else follows: clarity, decision, impact, freedom beyond any rulebook or illusion. What happens when leaders train their awareness daily? They become unstoppable. They lead differently. They live differently. Because awareness lights the way out of the prison of comfort and illusion and into the wild, fierce freedom of radical becoming. And this isn't just a promise, it's a call. For those who know this moment is their moment. For those who refuse to settle. For those who aren't waiting for someone else to save the world, but are ready to save it themselves, starting with how they train their mind every single day. Don't wait another second to rewrite your rules. Don't settle for being part of the noise. Train your awareness now and watch the world bend to your vision, not the other way around. This is how futures are made. This is how legends rise. This is how you become the leader you were meant to be.